Hi guys, Dr. Mel, and we're busy with physics doing the photoelectric effect. Let's go to a metal, and you've done some of this in chemistry. A metal has electrons that's delocalized around a positive nuclei. So I've got many electrons that's free and moving around the positive nuclei. We are going to utilize these electrons when we do see what the photoelectric effect does. So, first let's have a look at light. Light comes from the sun, and light can be many things, but important up till now, we said light is a wave. And with all the equations and all the characteristics of a wave, we know that light has a certain speed, and it's got a frequency, and it's got a wavelength. And the speed of light in our atmosphere is a constant of 3 times 10 to the power of 8. Now, in this section, we will see that light is also a particle, which means it's got a body and it's got energy. And therefore, we will say it is comprised of little particles, which we call photons. So, light will go into a movement, and you'll see it's moving like a wave, but it also has particle characteristics. And because it's got particle and wave characteristics, we say light has got duality. It can be either a wave or a particle. And that's quite important for you to know. Another constant that's on your information sheet, other than the speed of light, is also the Planck's constant, which we'll have a look at just now. But now we're going to work with the energy that's being carried with this light going into a specific metal. So what we see is when light is shone on a metal, and you know now that there's energy and pieces, which we call photons, going into a metal. If it's got enough energy coming in, it will actually loosen up an electron there and have that electron moving out. And that electron will travel at a certain speed, and it will have kinetic energy. And remember, we've got an equation to work out the kinetic energy. So, we've got light in the whole electromagnetic spectrum. We only see this little portion here, which is visible light. It goes from red, can you see the red there, and violet there. The violet having the highest frequency and the red having the lowest frequency. But that's only a small portion of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So on this side, we've got ultraviolet, just after the violet, we've got X-rays, and we've got gamma rays. Those are the higher frequency part of the electron magnetic spectrum. On the other side here, we've got next to red, infrared, we've got micro and radio waves. So they've got a lower frequency. So that's quite important for us because we are going to work with different frequencies. Right, so I've got 3 lights shining on a metal. It's potassium, and it's got a value of 2 electron volts if you want to eject an electron. So, light is coming in with 1.77, and it's red. Can you see? 1.77 is smaller than the 2, so no electrons will be emitted. I've got green coming in with 2.25. It's more than the 2, so it will emit an electron. And I've got blue with 3.1. It's again more than the 2, and it will emit an electron. So I have to have more energy coming in than the metal's way of keeping that electron before it can emit an electron. And we've got words for all of those. Now let's have a look. The red, not high enough. the green was high enough, and then the blue was even higher. So those are the three different colors that we shone on this metal. We are going to use this equation now. Let's have a look at this equation. We know that the velocity or speed is equal to the wavelength times the frequency. We can get a new equation now which can calculate the energy of this light wave by measuring the frequency with Planck's constant. Now, Planck's constant is 6.63 times 10 to the minus 3, 4, and it's joule seconds. And you know, I've got frequency, which is hertz, which is actually 1 per second. So you can see there it's per second, and this is joule times second, which will give you then the energy in joules. But that we'll get to later when we do the whole equation. What's important here is that that piece of metal that was drawn in that previous one had a value of 2 electron volt. What did it mean? It means that there's a threshold frequency. It has to have a minimum frequency in order for it to emit electrons. So the energy coming in has to be higher than the energy that it keeps its electrons with here if you want to emit an electron. That frequency of the light coming in has to be greater than this, and we call this the threshold frequency of this particular metal. We'll see now there's different metals with different threshold frequencies. In the second instance, you can either define it as the frequency or you can define it as the work. It's the work function. It's actually the work being done by the light rays going in, trying to get that electron out. And remember, the metal is clinging to that electron. That will be the minimum amount of energy needed to emit an electron. So work function as well as threshold frequencies are very specific for a specific metal. And as you have a look here, potassium had a threshold frequency or a work function, and that was specifically 2 electron volt. So 177 was not enough, 225 was enough, and 3.1 was more than enough. So if we have a graph of kinetic energy and frequency, can you see here I've got sodium with its specific threshold frequency. If the frequency is higher than that threshold frequency, it will emit an electron. If the metal is zinc, it has to be higher than that threshold frequency to emit an electron. Now, interesting, if we have a look at this equation, AE is H times F, I can actually say delta Y over delta X, which is your gradient. In this case, you know this was your Y, so it's delta E over your delta frequency. And you now have your change in kinetic energy over your change in frequency. And have a look at this. E over F is also H. So if I've got a graph like this, I can actually see with the gradient what the value of Planck's constant was, and that's how they calculated Planck's constant. Going back to an abbreviated way of putting it, if the frequency coming in is smaller than the threshold, that's what we call it, the threshold, there will be no electrons emitted. If it's equal, it won't be emitted, it will just get transition of that energy. But if it's higher than that threshold, you'll actually see an electron emitted. And see now that it has kinetic energy. So there's nothing happening if the threshold frequency is equal to the energy coming in. Right, let's have a look at a graph where they've got 3 different metals. I've got silver, zinc, and cesium. And can you see here, we've got the threshold frequency of silver, and see here, the scale is 10 to the power of 14. So that's 12 times 10 to the power of 14. So if light is coming in, it has to be more energy than this threshold energy. The zinc is a bit smaller and cesium is a bit smaller. So make sure that you can interpret the word threshold frequency. If I extrapolate this threshold, I'll get to my y-axis and you have energy here. And this will thus be the work function of these three different metals. So make sure that you've got the words of threshold and work function, threshold frequency. Right, the equation we're going to use will be the energy coming in, and that's of the light. And we know the frequency will determine the energy coming in, and this is the constant of Planck. That will be equal to the work function plus the kinetic energy of the electron coming out. So I know if I've got, for instance, 100 joules coming in, and this is only 25, I'll be left with 75. So yes, an electron will be emitted. So it's important that you've got this equation with the specific areas that you are going to apply it with. A question that they ask of me is that I've got green and blue light on a metal surface. So I've got this metal here, green light with that wavelength, blue with that wavelength, and they tell me electrons are ejected. The question, always first a theory question. What is the property of light illustrated by the photoelectric effect? Well, we know about the duality, so now we know light is also a particle. It's important that you know it's a particle or it's got photons. Photons are the small little particles of light falling in on this metal. The second question, without any calculation, give a reason why the maximum kinetic energy of an ejected electron using blue light is greater than green light. Now let's go back here. Can you see blue light will have a higher frequency because it's got a lower wavelength? And you can actually go and calculate the frequency of blue, and therefore it will be, because it's got a higher frequency. The blue light has a higher frequency. Another question. The wavelength associated with the cutoff or threshold frequency, remember we abbreviated it with that, is 330 nanometers. They're asking me to calculate the work function of that specific metal and the maximum speed of the ejected electron. And they give me the surface with the metal and the frequency of the light shining on that metal. So let's go ahead and calculate the work function. I'm saying to you, I want the work function, and it's like energy, and I know I can calculate it with either that equation or this equation. So what did they give me? They gave me the wavelength. So I will go ahead with this equation. I've got Planck's constant. I also have the speed of light. And now I've got the wavelength as 330. Guys, remember, 330 nanometers is 330 times 10 to the minus 9. And if you calculate that now very carefully, you'll find that the work function of that specific metal is 6.03 times 10 to the minus 19 joule. That was your accurate calculation. Then they asked me to calculate the maximum speed of the electron. Now, remember, we said the energy going in is equal to the work function plus the kinetic energy going out. I have the value of the energy coming in. I've worked out the work function just now, and I can calculate the velocity because I know the kinetic energy is half mass v squared. Right, let's go ahead and do this calculation. Let's go and say I've got 6.63 times 10 to the minus 34. They gave me the frequency as 1.2, and I calculated the work function just now, and I'm going to substitute it in there. And now, guys, please bear in mind that you've got the mass of an electron. It's on your information sheet. So make sure that you copy that correctly. And I now have the velocity square. And if you do the math now, you will find that you get a value of 0.423 times 10 to the 12th, which is v squared, and v is thus 6.5 times 10 to the 5, and the unit of that would be that. Important that you calculate every little portion very accurately and do the math very, very efficiently. I hope you can do the definition. Photoelectric effect, light coming in on a metal, and if this is higher energy than the work function or the frequency, that's a threshold, it will emit electrons, and you know it's got a kinetic energy. You have to be able to say what's the significance. Yes, we can use these electrons to use as electricity. So we know this is where the whole solar energy comes from, and I'll elaborate on that later. There's a threshold frequency of the specific metal or the work function. This is the energy, guys. It will be in joules. This is the frequency. That will be in hertz. Whether the one or the other, that's the characteristic of that metal. And you'll have to be able to do calculations. I hope you enjoy doing photoelectric effect. We usually get very good marks with photoelectric questions. Bye-bye.